You ought to be concerned about this if you have a child, but you need to participate in your own rescue and you need to stand up for your kids, because if you don't stand up, nobody else is going to stand up for you. I'm happy to say that a lot of parents in Canada are standing up, and a lot of parents are saying no, and the school is feeling the heat. We got to remove the leadership that is in there now. You have to go out and vote as well, and you have to keep the pressure up because this stuff is unacceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode. I wanted to share something with you that you can do to put one more roadblock in protecting and safeguarding your kids from all this gender ideology nonsense. I highly recommend that you subscribe to the EMPOWR Substack. It's free and it keeps you up to date with the things that are happening, and there's a bunch of great writers, and we're just getting started with this, So here's the thing. There's a Declaration of Family Rights. So let me just quickly skim through this. I'm going to put this article in the description below so you can read it and so you can apply it, because it gives you steps on how to go about this. So the term SOGI, which is sexual orientation and gender identity, is not as widely used here as in Ontario as in other provinces like British Columbia, the province from which the ARC Foundation was recognized as an innovator in the SOGI inclusive education. However, the same concepts have been introduced in Ontario in various ways through the guise of Pride and DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So here's a Declaration of Parental Rights. It's a legal document that parents can serve to their children's principal, teacher, school staff, administrators, and anyone who has contact with their child at school regarding the exposure of their ideology to their child. So you can download this document. Here's a little screenshot over here. There's a little bit of how-to for parents on how to use this document. And here's a little blurb. So this declaration has been prepared for parents who wish to exercise their authority over the education of their children. The declaration is a legal instrument and is intended to provide a legitimate means of informing school administration and teaching staff of restrictions that may be necessary in the face of increasing attempts by teachers to deal with matters that are not based in science or fact, that facilitates a political agenda, exploits students, and/or is harmful to a student's psychological, emotional, and physical well-being, or any course of instruction that results in creating division within the school or between the school and home, and is unsupported by parents. This legal instrument is not intended to put an obstacle in the way of properly conducted classes or programs in their regular academic curriculum taught with consideration to fact, science, neutrality, and recognizing the rights of all students. So, if you're tired of this nonsense, and the school boards, they always insist we're following the curriculum. I wish they followed the curriculum at the very minimum. However, if that was the case, we wouldn't be in this situation. For you see, the school spends about 30% of the time celebrating days of sexuality and sexual behaviors with minors starting from age 4 and up. And I believe that all students in the school system, they're all minors. So who's interested in knowing their sexuality? Who wants to have discussions about their preferred sexual behaviors? It's crazy, it's creepy, and these people need to be in jail if they plan to have these conversations with kids and exploit them in this manner and groom them. So, in the curriculum, it probably shows a lot of biological stuff, right? Just teach biology, man, woman, etc. These people in the school system, they dedicate 2 months of the year to LGBTQ. One is Pride Month in June. The other one is LGBTQ History Month in October, right? Plus other weeks and days like Bisexual Visibility Day. Like, come on, how inappropriate is that for minors? Who wants to know their sexuality? Trans Awareness Week, etc. All of these, roughly 30%, plus the assemblies that they have, plus the clubs that they have, plus they maybe have like a ideological teacher who has flags and stuff. Your child is receiving between 30% to 100% exposure to this ideology, and somebody is constantly looking to see what their sexual preferences are. Who is interested in knowing the sexuality of your child? You know, if this document, if you find it useful, it's another tool that you can use to put them on notice and say, I do not allow this to happen. I do not give you consent. You know, and as a school, you know, they always practice preaching, you know, oh, you got to have consent. Well, it's as simple as no thanks. I don't want that. You can talk about normal stuff, right? Stick to the curriculum. Let me know when the curriculum is happening. The reason why they don't let you know about the other stuff is because, first of all, it's not part of the curriculum. And they tout that sexual orientation and gender identity is part of the human rights. Therefore, they don't even have to announce you if they're going to have these discussions with minors, right? It's a part of human rights. We might as well just have these discussions. And it's disgusting what they're doing to minors. I hope that you can continue to apply pressure. Obviously, the school boards are feeling it. Send them a message. Put this document on file if you find it useful. For your child, you never know what's going to happen, right? Because the schools are busy socially transitioning kids. They involve other organizations to come to the school to talk to kids, giving them material and information on how they can continue affirming through therapy and medical intervention, etc. Social transitioning starts at school, and they're putting the kids on a road with lifelong psychological and physical ramification, sterilizing kids right before they have a chance to start a family. You ought to be concerned about this if you have a child, but you need to participate in your own rescue, and you need to stand up for your kids, because if you don't stand up, nobody else is going to stand up for you. I'm happy to say that a lot of parents in Canada are standing up, and a lot of parents are saying no, and the school is feeling the heat. We got to remove the leadership that is in there now. You have to go out and vote as well, and you have to keep the pressure up, because this stuff is unacceptable. You know, they say we're intolerant and hateful. Honestly, they probably want a pat on the back for their behavior. I got to be honest, I hate this behavior. This kind of behavior is unacceptable around kids. You don't talk to kids. You don't empower them sexually by having these inappropriate discussions in secret without parents knowing. If this doesn't light a fire under your butt to do something about it, honestly, I don't know what will. Stand up for your kids and join the parents. There's a movement coming. The movement's already here. The tide is turning. So let's be on the right side of history. We're going to look back and we're going to see that these people were part of exploiting kids, vulnerable kids. And they always say, right, like LGBTQ kids are vulnerable, etc., etc. So why are they taking advantage of vulnerable kids? Why are the number of vulnerable kids, and according to their own statistics, higher rates of depression, anxiety, and self-deletion, etc.? Why are these groups of kids growing under the school leadership? These questions ought to concern you. So I highly recommend that you take action and you do something. Send a message, print out this letter, have a look, see if it applies. If you find it useful, please share with other parents. This content is getting censored hard, but I really think that it's important that parents know exactly what's happening. I appreciate it. Until next time, take care.